Hello everybody, we are the Geeks and the Degenerates. I am Enzo, this is my forever co-host John, and today, since the documentary on Christopher Reeve is coming out this month, I thought it would be best to talk about Superman 2, to take a pause at the horror stuff for Halloween, but then again, a lot of people dress up as Superman for Halloween as well, so I guess it's cool for this month.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, people are superheroes all the time, like I'm planning to do many Doctor Doom cosplay soon, so yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
so you have like the green hood and everything?
I found a mask on Shopee, and then I just need the green hood, and I'm like, all right, I'm
Okay.
Doctor Doom now. But yeah, full transparency, John and I watched two different versions of this movie because there is a definitive cut, and John just watched
I
the normal
I
version.
I could not find the Richard Donner like. I only got the original one, so I guess we're gonna be comparing notes.
Yeah, but yeah, for a lot of people, Christopher Reeve is the definitive Superman. Like I said this in the first Superman movie, and like here, he's still pretty great as Superman. Like his build, the way he acts as the character, it's pretty great. And like I can see why
Okay.
people love him.
I'm gonna agree on that one where he does look the part, and
Yeah,
I could see him like he pulls off the Clark Kent saying. I don't know if we mentioned this in our like first Superman movie
yeah,
review, but he pulls off the Clark Kent look very well.
yeah,
Like he's just like this shriveled up, like kind of dorky guy,
yeah,
and he like pretends to be insecure and everything, and he plays the part very well. I just can't take him seriously when he is Superman because his Clark Kentiness bleeds into it.
yeah, a bit.
Especially that one scene where they're like we have to fight him together, and then they like Zod and his like gang just like shoots him with a beam, and he's like, he's just like this. And I
Yeah.
was like, I can't take that seriously.
Yeah, I also love the dynamic between him and Lois Lane. Like, I'm not sure if in the original cut, Lois tests if he's Superman by like a bullet.
Jumping. Oh, wait, what?
Yeah, well, first jumping, and I guess in the Donner cut, she's like, if you really are, she's like, she believes he's really Superman, so he like fires a gun, and then Clark is like, no, wait, and then she fires it, and then he's like, if you were wrong, Clark Kent could have been killed, and she's like, oh yeah, with a blank, and he's like, oh fuck, oh
Yeah.
shit,
Is this the is this the equivalent of a girlfriend asking, "Would you still love me if I was a worm?"
I guess. But yeah, she does jump out the window, and again, you're like, yeah, if he was just Clark Kent, what are you gonna do, man? Like when you hit the tarmac, I guess you'd be like, fuck, why am I a Pulitzer Prize winning journalist?
Oh, that's a good way to throw it all into the bin.
Yeah,
But like, yeah, I didn't know there was a lot of shit I missed out on, like the Donner cut.
yeah,
That's actually legitimately funny.
yeah. I guess this is the thing with Warner Brothers. They keep messing with director's cuts. They gave it to a lesser, I guess, filmmaker, and then they're like to the original guy. They're like, yeah, we won't show you our original idea for this movie. Apparently, it's been a trend for years, which is unfortunate. But yeah,
Yeah.
I do want to touch on the subject of General Zod for a bit. I know it's kind of unfair to compare the new and the old, but like here I get why people thought Terrence Stamp as Zod is amazing, and he is amazing for the Zod they're trying to make for this time. But like I'm just still used to like the Warrior bound to bring back Krypton.
Yeah,
Instead of this guy being like, I just need people to kneel down to me because that's the only thing I know, which is submissiveness. You're like, okay, sure.
and it's very cartoony.
Yeah, it is.
Not gonna lie, like the entire time General Zod is being General Zod.
Yeah,
It's just too cartoony. I couldn't take him seriously, and I don't know what's up with his goons. The girl's fine.
yeah,
There's a guy who sounds like a rubber hose the entire time. Um, I don't know what's his deal.
yeah.
He's supposed to be that big brute in like the first Superman with Henry Cavill.
Yeah, Man of Steel.
Yeah, the Man of Steel. Like he's supposed to be that guy who's like the hulking Kryptonian.
Yeah,
But even him, I couldn't take seriously because like he has like Lois Lane in his arms, and he's just like having an asthma attack at the same time. I'm like, okay.
Uh, I do like the fact that for a bit of this movie, they ask the question if like if is Superman still Superman without his powers, and the answer is obviously yes. But once they get to that fight, that big battles fight, I was like, ah, yes, this is the height of the '80s, folks. Sure, why not?
Yeah, it's not the Man of Steel. Sadly, they're not going through buildings.
Yeah.
They're not like cutting down buildings with their like laser beams. It's very comedic. You could tell that people didn't really take superhero movies all that seriously until like Tim Burton came along.
Yeah, like at one point, Zod kicks, or one of the Kryptonians kicks Superman into a car, and it just makes a small dent. I was like, bullshit, but sure.
Remember when like Mr. Rubber Hose voice just like I really don't want to be me. Next thing you know, that's how he actually sounds. I don't know. Like he like punches Superman into a side of a building.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, I thought there was gonna be more damage, but besides a bent vent,
Yeah.
like, but then that lady's just like, "Oh, they got the equal strength as Superman." I was like, "I ain't the equal strength of Superman." I'm sorry.
Right. All right. Gene Hackman's back as Lex Luthor, being we call that the landlord, or like we call him land mogul that he is in the '80s.
Right, yeah, Australia.
Yeah. I'm like, I really miss the Lex Luthor that's just very insecure about him having to look up at someone for once instead of look down on people. Don't really like the whole land grabber type Lex Luthor. I like if you scratch my ego once, I'm gonna fucking end you, Lex Luthor. But like, he's fine here. Like they all are fine here as the characters.
Okay, in my opinion, I don't think anyone has pulled off a really good Lex Luthor besides Mr. Krabs.
Oh yeah, Clancy Brown. Clancy Brown is like the goat of Lex Luthor. It's like, I'm surprised they never made like him live action Lex Luthor, because he can serve well as an older Lex.
I could see that. Yeah, I just never seen him. I never seen Clancy Brown bald before.
Yeah.
Except for maybe Shawshank. He probably had like a little bit of a buzz cut.
Yeah. And he's been in the DC universe multiple times already in live action. I don't know if you've seen the Penguin already, but he's Maroni in the Penguin. Yeah.
Is the Penguin out already in like a month?
Yeah.
In HBO Go?
Yeah, it's streaming already. I think
the
first
okay.
2 episodes are available. The other thing I want to touch upon is how Superman solves his Zod problem. Where, like, I truly believe if Henry Cavill, Superman, and Christopher Reeve, Superman met with each other and talked about how they dealt with Zod, their conclusion would be, we had to do it to save the world. We'll just kill Zod. And they'd be like, yeah, for the world we had to kill him.
How did they kill him again?
Superman just gripped his hand.
Yeah, I forgot about that part. By the way, I think we kind of glossed over the whole, like, Superman being at, like, terms with him being mortal. Because that was very short-lived.
Yeah, that was like a quick thing.
Like, they went to a diner, he felt how weak he is, and he took a bus back to his, like, secret sanctum.
Yeah, and
I was like, okay.
Jor-El became one, and you're like, well, that was a quick trip to mortality.
Yeah. By the way, like, you cannot be serious. Is that Superman hitchhiked from wherever he went through that diner back to the Antarctica. Because that's what they said where like his secret lair is.
Yeah, the Fortress of Solitude. You're like, damn.
Yeah.
How far did the bus take you, man?
And like Lois Lane was there, like no problem.
Yeah, she's like, sure.
she had like a cardigan on or some shit.
Yeah. Like every time Superman picks up Lois Lane and they fly like at the same length, you're like, I was like, yeah, I don't think that it works that way, but sure, why not? For the sake of Lois Lane.
Also, by the way, I love how they fly.
Yeah.
It's just like, you know, like they had to piggyback. Like the 3 villains had to piggyback Lois Lane and Lex Luthor on their backs, and it was the most comedic thing I've ever seen. I was like, what high school like YouTube video effects is this?
Right? Again, you're just like, ah, yes, the 80s. Where
The
people
80s.
we really didn't take superhero movies as seriously as we do now.
Yeah. I will say though, the actor for Zod, I would say gave it his all. Like if it like clearly this man has been in theater
Yeah.
and he kind of just had to work with what he got. And I swear, if he just did more serious stuff,
Yeah.
I would have taken like his role a little seriously. Because him just going like kneel, I want you to kneel. That's what I know.
Yeah.
But then he does like some cartoony villain shit. Like I forgot what he does. Like where like all three of them like blow at the citizens. By the way, did you hear that one guy?
Yeah.
Like after they're like, oh, Superman's dead because he got hit by a bus.
Yeah.
Somebody's like, they killed Superman. Let's get him. Yeah, I know some jujitsu. I was like, what?
Like, I don't think jiu-jitsu works on these Kryptonians, but sure, you can try. But yeah, since we watched the two different versions, why don't you explain to the folks how your version ended?
So my version ended with Superman having a very lackluster fight against the three villains. Also, he has Shadow Clone Jutsu. And he also pulls that thing that Sub-Zero does, where he has a ice clone for some reason. Okay. After that, they had like this Dragon Ball Z fight where they would disappear and appear in a different area. I don't know if you got that one. Yeah, and then like Superman tricks Lex Luthor into betraying him, into like, hey, step here, so like they could lose their powers, and then plot twist, it's actually the bad guys who lose their powers.
Yeah.
Lois Lane punches the girl, the other guy falls into the abyss, so does General Zod. And then like that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Sorry. And at the ending, he Superman can erase memories? Yeah. You didn't get that one, didn't you?
No.
Yeah, so like he's with like Lois Lane. Lois Lane's like, "Oh, I love you," and he's like, "Ah, we can't be because, well, if you know I'm Superman, you're in danger and shit." And then she's like bawling, and then like he kisses her, and then she just loses her memory. Yeah, and then he like goes back into his like meek, like nerdy self. I was like, "Oh yeah, I can get some water because like hydration." He does this. I don't know what this means. And he plays the Clark Kent role so fucking well. And then, yeah, that's the end. Sorry, and then he like flies off. Then he flies off into the sun, and he's like, "Oh," he gives like the White House their like roof back.
Oh.
That's it. That is it.
Okay, so after he kills Zod and his gang, like Superman drops Lois off, and like the same sentiment. He destroys the fortress, and then he flies off with Lois, and he's like, "I can't be with you, because again, if people, I'm Superman, you're in danger." And he kisses her, and then he does the thing at the end of the first movie where he reverses the Earth, and like it undoes everything. It like undoes the Kryptonian attack. It sends Zod and his gang back to the Phantom Zone, like.
So you thought we could have done it just from the start?
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
But I do like it because in the first one he reverses the Earth for a selfish reason, and now here he does it for a selfless reason. I'm like, yeah, Superman. And then he
pulls like a Spider-Man Far From Home thing.
Oh, yeah, you mean No Way Home? That's the
No Way Home. My bad.
Yeah. And then he gets revenge on the guy who beat him in the diner.
Yeah. There was also that where the guy's like looking at him and was like, "Oh, how did I do it? I worked out."
Exactly. And then like after he sees Lois, he sees Lois and he's Clark Kent again. He has no idea who he is as Superman, and then he just flies off in around the world, like the classic Christopher Reeve way, and you're like, all right, yay, Superman. And
Is this the
unfortunately,
one where he fixes like the Great Wall of China?
that's the fourth one.
Oh, okay.
I was about to say,
Are you where he
unfortunately,
becomes an alcoholic?
that's number three. Yeah, you're
Oh
hinting
my
at the
god.
fact that after this one, it just goes for here for Christopher Reeve and his Superman franchise. Unfortunately, uh, but yeah, I still I love Christopher Reeve as Superman. Like him and Henry Cavill are like my two definitive live action versions. Like can't
Hmm.
think of Brandon Root as a third probably, and maybe the guy from the Arrowverse as a fourth.
Okay. We have yet to see this new guy, the one from Twister.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I feel like he'll do a great job.
yeah. He looks the part. Like the
Hmm.
pictures I've seen, I was like, yeah, you definitely look like a Superman.
I was wondering if this Superman would like connect to like Robert Pattinson's Batman or in any way.
I don't think those universes are ever connecting,
You
unfortunately.
know what? I think that's for the best.
Yeah, I know Crypto is making his debut in the Superman movie, so I'm like, well, that's a first.
I think it's just going to be a puppy.
I'm not sure, but I'm glad James Gunn is embracing the more comic book side of Superman. So I'm like, at least. So we'll just have to wait till next year. But for now, what would you rate Superman 2?
I would rate Superman to. It's very charming. It's very comedic,
Yeah.
and like my favorite like scene from the entire movie is when the three villains were just blowing at the citizens of Metropolis,
Yeah.
and just like a guy on a payphone, and he's still on call, like sideways.
You
Um,
know, since you're too used to Invincible and The Boys, like, if this was made today, do you think there'll be like bug splatters on the sides of buildings?
yeah, like that's what I'm kind of like used to, and it's more my speed. But no, that's not my speed. My God. Um, but also, this is not to my speed because I was like, this is a moment where people thought Superman died. It's a very tragic moment, and then it became slapstick comedy,
Yeah.
which kind of ruined the moment for me. But
Mm.
it's fine. This movie is slow though.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you're in it for like Superman being Superman, that's not what you're gonna get. You're here to see Zod kind of like be a nuisance, not really a threat, just a nuisance.
Yeah.
Um, um, and Superman just going off with Lois Lane and just going little dates and then sacrificing his powers for her. And then he was like 5 minutes later, he was like, you know what? Nah, I kind of want it back.
Yeah.
Again, I couldn't take this movie seriously. Is this a great Superman movie? In my opinion, no. Is Christopher Reeves great as Superman? Eh? But is he great as Clark Kent? Yes.
Hmm.
Was Zod like kind of threatening? The actor, I will say yes. He did. Like if you gave him lines from uh, General Zod in The Man of Steel,
Yeah.
my God, he would kill him.
Yeah.
But him being just like this villain of the week, kind of like not so much of a threat.
Hmm.
I couldn't take it seriously. Again, the majority of this movie I couldn't take seriously. I'll give this one a 6.5 out of 10.
Hmm.
It's a funny movie. Not gonna lie. If you were drunk and we had like a movie night, like, and you put this on, I'll be laughing my ass off. But if you're gonna be like, is this the definitive Superman movie where the like what we grew up with Henry Cavill and Brendan
Ro.
yeah no, this is not it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll give it a 7. Like, most points go to Christopher Reeve for me. Like, there are moments where he does portray Superman pretty well. Like, the aura of Superman, he gets to capture it well for the time. Like, there are moments where it's like, yeah, I think you're too used to being Clark Kent at the same time. But, like, there are moments where you're like, yeah, for the 80s Superman, you are the definitive version of that. And, like,
Hmm.
I'm glad you are. Everybody, a lot of people's definitive version of Superman. But, like, just the way this movie has aged, not the best way in my opinion. Like, I seriously guess we as modern audiences are just too spoiled with like this Dragon Ball gods fighting against gods. thing.
I agree.
Yeah.
I also agree. We're a little bit too spoiled on that. And
Yeah, and like none of like they don't really establish Zod as a threat. Like he's more of a bully in the first few minutes. He's making people kneel. Like that scene where he destroys a town with helicopters and soldiers. You're like, yeah, I'm glad. In a way, I'm glad that the 80s held back and there's not like fucking decapitations and guts everywhere. But at the same time, you're like, yeah, I could go with some more threats. Like when the girl was just like picking on the soldiers, and I'm too used to like the other girl from Man of Steel just killing them with her speed and her strength and being like,
yeah,
the more you save will kill a million more, and you're like, I believe you. I believe you're gonna kill everybody on this planet. But here you're just like, yeah, you're just dicks, man. And like Lex Luthor being an ass kisser to Kryptonians doesn't also seem right to me.
it does not. It
Yeah.
really doesn't.
Like I was expecting him to be like have backup kryptonite just in case they decide to disembowel him, or like at least come with a suit. But again, I'm like, right, this is 80s. I have to get used to this.
Also, well, by the way, we didn't mention the fucking thing that Superman does.
Yeah.
Where, remember Rubber Hose Voice just like goes at him and then he tosses his symbol?
Oh yeah.
What the fuck was that about?
Oh yeah, my version didn't have that.
Mine did, and it was like this like it was like this clear film that like goes over him and it was like I don't think
Yeah.
why did that stop a Kryptonian? Or are they Kryptonians here?
The Zod? Yeah, they're Kryptonians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so I'm just like what? By the way, look it up on YouTube. It's so fucking funny because he like gets his symbol like a tearaway in like an F1 helmet and tosses it at the guy, and the guy's just like ah.
I think I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen that version in a while, but like I've seen clips on YouTube, and I'm just like, what the fuck is that supposed to be?
I don't know. I didn't know he had gadgets too.
Right? I like it's fascinating to see how far superhero movies have come and the lessons that they're still learning today. Like if we didn't have such campy times, we would never get the god tier times where you're like, yeah, Infinity War, Man of Steel, Endgame, fucking Winter Soldier. Who knows what we'll have if we never learn those lessons. At the same time, you're like, yeah, these are just growing pains for now,
Yeah, for sure. Like these movies walk so other movies can run, kind of deal. So I'm still kind of thankful for the cheesy, campy superhero movies.
Yeah. Like, I mean, we'll just see where Superman and the rest of the superhero franchise go from here since they're all having their big restart next year. I mean, Deadpool and Wolverine was just like a great intermission, I guess.
Yeah. It's just like a commercial break where we're just like, you know what? We don't need to take superheroes seriously.
Yeah. It'd also be like, remember when we had these people as these? And you're like, I remember those other growing pains. Sure. Let's all celebrate them. But yeah, that's been our video on Superman 2. Unless you have anything else to add for this one?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm so fucking down to do the other two.
Yeah, we'll probably do them once the new one gets closer.
Yeah. I will say though, like if it's as slow as this one, I have to say I did fall asleep. I had to I woke up, I had to rewind because I missed so much. I was like, oh fuck, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, to the audience watching, what's your favorite Superman movie or your favorite Superman, whoever it is and whatever it is, comment down below. If you'd like to see more of us, please leave a like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. We're also on Spotify and TikTok. TikTok to see our best and funniest moments, Spotify to hear us on the go. Individually, I am Enswolf on Letterboxd and Zoda's Voices on TikTok. Where can they find you?
You can find me at JohnGM_. On Instagram, it is my account.
And until the next time, we'll see you then. Bye, everybody.
Ciao.